So long, Mr. Key?
I don't know. I wasn't in there. Thank you very much.
How come Shorty was like 6'2" and they found a body that was like 5'4"? No, I asked the film crew that of the death dealers. The same thing. I wanted them to put that on television. No.
Now is the time to let Mr. Shea be found.
Now, do you feel that this is the man? He is not beheaded. He looks like he is all in one piece, which goes against what was said during the trial.
And now, you've judged yourselves once again. L.A. will burn to the ground. Los Angeles will burn to the ground.
Pull away. The car pulled up to us, started screaming at us, and long live Rodney King, justice for Rodney King.
The head of your family is Nixon. He's your father. He's lost sight of his children. He doesn't see in the back. He doesn't see in the shadows. He doesn't see on the roadsides. He doesn't see in the back of the cells. He doesn't see in the yard in the penitentiary. Most of the people in here are just your reflections. They're your mistakes. So, as a collective society.
Even though they have rebelled against that society?
Well, they weren't born rebelling. They weren't born with the anger and frustration that they have. That had to be put on them by somebody. Somebody created them.
You all live with yourselves. You all know what you are. You all know money's your God. You all know you have no truth. Who do you look to? The CIA? The President? The FBI? Who are your leaders? Who tells you the truth? What do you do to your children? What do you do to your earth?
I want to say this to every man that has a mind, to all the intelligent life forms that exist on this planet Earth. I wish really to say this to the Scottish Rites and the Masons and all the people with minds who have degrees of knowledge and who are aware of courts, laws, United Nations, governments. In the 40s, we had a war, and all of our economies went towards this war effort. The war ended on one level, but we wouldn't let it end on the other level. We kept buying and selling this war. I'm not locked in a penitentiary for crimes. I'm locked in the Second World War. I'm locked in the Second World War with this decision to bring to the world court. There must be a one world court, or we're all going to be devoured by crime. Crime, and the definition of crime comes from Nuremberg, when the judges decided that they wanted to call Second World War a crime. Honor and war is not a crime.
Where the eagle flies.
He said that his music would take all the young love and program them to go somewhere else, to go out into the desert.
The president doesn't represent the people. He should be on the roadside picking up his children, but he isn't. He's in the White House sending them off to war.
Where the sun burns bright.
You know, I never had a life. I don't even know what life is, you know.
So you won't notice that war across the ocean, and you won't notice your brothers leaving every day and getting killed, and you won't notice the rioting that's happening in the streets or the bombing. They're focusing their attention on a scapegoat.
Where the mountains reach like
the idea of what Charlie was scared the shit out of me.
They can look and have all your hate towards that one awful man, and so you won't look at Nixon and what he's doing. He points his finger at Charles Manson, and he says, with his bloody finger, he says that man's a murderer.
I think he's a great person.
I think he's darling.
I think he's cool. Oh, I think he's a cool dude.
Es el producto de la sociedad americana.
I don't think he did it. I think it was inspired by the devil.
Greetings. Decided it was time to do another video on Manson, Charles Manson. And I did some more research. I had considered Manson to be a complete patsy. And after finding out some more things, I discovered he wasn't a complete patsy. And the primary purpose was to kill the counterculture. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. And I assumed he had nothing to do with the murders at all. Well, that, I've changed my mind. He did apparently tell those people to go up there and commit those murders, even though he denies that he did. He did. But there are strong indications that somebody told him to tell them to go up and commit those murders. There's all indications of government mind control throughout this whole Charles Manson thing from beginning to end. There's other people associated with that ranch and that Manson family who apparently are in the shadows, and they're not being exposed at all by our media. The only way to find out the truth is you need to go back and read the real trial transcripts, not the Hollywood version, because the Hollywood version is, in many places, not even half true. Yeah, I watched a thing last night, Hard Copy did a thing on Manson, and Manson was angry, and he was threatening to send somebody to pay a visit to some of these guys. And I watched the Hard Copy hit piece against Manson, and I could see why he would be angry. It was probably 10% truth, 90% lies, okay? Manson is not a saint, and he'll tell you he's not a saint, but, you know, they got it. The mainstream Jewish-controlled media has to lie. I guess it's just a habit. I guess they're just compulsive liars, you know? There's enough nasty things you can really legitimately say about Manson. You don't have to make up lies. And even a lot of these documentaries on Charles Manson, a lot of them are not even half true. One thing I was never able to find much evidence is that Manson went around talking about this helter-skelter, trying to create a race war between the blacks. He may have mentioned that kind of stuff on occasion, but I don't think it was the main reason. I don't know, since Manson's never came forward and told what he was told. He's never even mentioned he's being controlled by anybody. He's supposed to be the one who's in control. Well, the reason for the lies about Manson is because they have to portray him as being a hippie and his followers are being hippies who freaked out by doing drugs, because they don't want you living off the grid, and they don't want you doing LSD and hallucinogens. They absolutely don't want that, because that goes against their slavery system. So that's why they got to make up all this crap about Manson. Now, Manson, I was watching an interview, and I'd seen this before years ago, and this refreshed some of my memory. Manson said the reason for the murders, okay, now he didn't explain the La Blanca murders, but he explained the Hinman murder was Hinman owed one of his people money, and I can never remember how to pronounce that guy's name. He asked Manson to help him get it back. He says, "It's your problem, you take care of it." And he says, "No, I need help. You're my brother." And I go, "Okay." So he helped him, and he said, "This is what you do." He disarmed the guy, and he cut his ear, okay, and he said, I should kill you right now, but if you give me your word, your honor, I'll let you go." And he said, "I'll give you my honor." And then he was going to go back and kill Manson, and then the guy said, "No, Manson owes me one, I can't let you do that." And so he killed, that's why Manson said Hinman was killed. Now, the Tate murders, now he said this Tex Watson owed him a debt, okay? He apparently had been, some prostitute had screwed him over and stole money from him, and he wanted to get even, and Manson said, "That's your problem. Be a man, you go down and take care of it." He went down there and he stole $5,000 from this prostitute, but apparently she was owned by a black pimp. And this black pimp said he's going to come up there and kill everybody in the family. And Manson said, "Oh, no, you're not." So Manson ended up going down there and he ended up shooting the guy and cut up somebody else, I guess. But he didn't kill anybody. He says, "I don't want to go to the gas chamber." And then he told Watson, "Okay, now you owe me one." Now this Frenchman, he said, he didn't say who the Frenchman, he owed him. Or he owed the Frenchman, because that Frenchman had done him a favor. Okay, and so he told Watson, "You owe me a favor, I owe the Frenchman a favor, so you go do what the Frenchman tells you to do." And the Frenchman wanted the Tate murders for some reason. He didn't say why. Now this is what Manson said. Now, apparently this is all about drug stuff going on, and wouldn't surprise me at all that Sharon Tate and those people up there were doing drugs, and it wouldn't surprise me at all that they screwed somebody over. It wouldn't, and so this was revenge. It was a little bit too bloody, I think, but apparently that's what Manson said it was all about. Now, I suspect there's more to it than that. Here's an interesting little coincidence, one of many. The Haunted Mansion at Disney World just happened to open up August 9th, 1969. Tate murders, okay? Just after midnight, August 9th, 1969. But there's clearly other people behind the scenes controlling things. Like these film clips I saw, these girls years ago, I mean, they're reading cue cards, obviously.
We are what you have made us. We were brought up on your TV. We were brought up watching Gunsmoke, Have Gun Will Travel, FBI, Combat. Combat was my favorite show. I never missed Combat. I always watched Combat because the guy that was the lead in Combat was my hero. You know, he was a big, strong dude, and he shot 40 or 50 people in each show.
This is typical criminal behavior, a thing that they do to ease their conscience by taking the guilt of what they've done and putting it on the victim. All right, it's your fault. You know, like a rapist goes in. Usually after he's raped some woman, he puts a guilt trip on her, you know, it's your fault. You shouldn't have left your back door unlocked. Or if it was locked, you should have had a better lock. Or you shouldn't have dressed like that. It's always the victim's fault. And here they are. It's your fault. It's your fault that you're unsuspecting dupes that allowed yourselves to be conned through at first innocent appearing entertainment industry, which is in reality doing everything in its power to corrupt and poison you and your children. It's your fault you were stupid enough to fall for that. It's not their fault for doing it to you. It's your fault for falling for it. Like, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed this innocent entertainment system was actually being designed to corrupt and poison everybody? Who would have guessed that? You know, but it's your fault for falling for it. Your fault for being a victim of a con game.
But he was still the hero. You know, he was still the beautiful dude that was doing it for some kind of cause, which they never told us. And I'd wake up every morning, you know, early in the morning before anybody was up, and I'd turn on the cartoons. And I'd watch 40 or 50 or 60 minutes of people shooting people. They'd make it exciting, you know, they'd be on stagecoaches or with whips or whatever, you know, Snidely Whiplash, and they'd make them, you know, characters that would catch the kids' attention. And this guy you were looking to for, you know, entertainment or whatever you want to call it, was killing all through the show. Every show we ever watched was all killing. All those old-time gangster movies where, you know, it was all exciting. They were in the cars with the low hats on, and they were cruising, and they were shooting out the windows, or, you know, it was all exciting. And we are what you made us. Exactly. So what's the big deal? 5 or 6 people get killed, and you all freak out and put it on us, and we're just reflecting you back at yourselves.